big exclamation mark behind it, say it's over. Let me read to you just briefly what we'll be looking for in this minute and a half, and I wish you all good luck. The 90-second presentation is to have you imagine that you are an employee of the company whose case you've been studying. You're at a meeting in which people are discussing the issue. However, no one has brought up ethics. There's a pause in the conversation, and you have 90 seconds in which to convince the other people at the meeting that there are ethical issues that need to be addressed. You don't have to argue for a solution. You just need them to see that there are serious ethical issues here. One team member. And we can start with the first team, which is UMass. A minute and a half is too short for me to give you the signal that it's almost over, so you just hear the buzzer.
So as an employee of Nestle, we're all aware that water is important to our business. We have the largest market share in the industry, and additionally 9% of our revenue is coming from water. So water is important. Water is a global systemic risk, water is a human right, and water is becoming increasingly scarce as a result of tragedy of the commons. So we have an ethical dilemma here between our rights to water as a company in contrast to the community's rights to water. And we've seen this reflected in our legal cases. So our rights to water have been protected in courts, but it should be emphasized that community pushback is the real focus here. There's been increased regulation in terms of fees, increased regulation in terms of hurdles to jump over to apply for these permits. We've seen the rejection of our extraction proposals, and probably the most important one is that communities are banning water production, water bottling, and transport entirely in these areas. So if we don't address this ethical issue, the longevity of our company is at stake. If we continue to prioritize our own right to water over the community's right to water, then there is no way for this business to continue. Either A, these communities will increase their regulation to the point where we can't extract at all, or B, if we don't address water scarcity, there'll be no water left to extract. So finally, we need to address this ethical issue as well as realize there is a duty to disclose water as a material risk. Thank you.
So throughout this meeting, it's been made pretty clear that implementation of facial recognition software across the United States would have financial benefits to the company, and it would be legally sound. What hasn't been made clear is if there's any ethical issues associated with this. And I propose that there are indeed ethical issues with facial recognition software. The first question that we must ask ourselves is, as KFC, do we actually have the right to collect facial data and store it on our servers for our daily customers who come into the restaurant? And even more than that, once we start storing this data, can we actually guarantee that it will be protected from either hacking or corporate misconduct? And going a little bit further than even that, how can we as a company ethically justify collecting this facial data in order to merely improve our bottom line and minute differences in our customer service, while at the same time taking these very vital data points from our customers that are, in essence, their own face, something that we all prize as human beings. Right now, it might be legal, but as a cutting-edge field and brand new technology, we can't risk being unethical in this, because we could set a precedent for the rest of the world in this technology, and that's dangerous. So we at the very least need to have an ethical discussion.
We've discussed many things today, legal issues, economic issues, accounting issues, but I think we've lost perspective because we haven't considered the ethical issues of our company's delaying tactics. When we restrict other companies from entering the market with their generic competing products, we actually are directly contradicting our company's mission, which is to provide global access access to high-quality medicine. You all know that I have multiple sclerosis, and we're currently working on the generic of the drug Copaxone, which is what I take for treatment. But what if it was one of our competitors that was trying to push out that drug? How would that affect me? I think there are a few other things that we need to consider as well. When we raise our drug prices so high that individuals can't afford the market price, we come off as greedy. It looks like we don't care about human lives, and that is a serious problem, a big ethical issue. One other thing that we need to think about is there are people out there that truly believe that healthcare and access to medication is a human right. Now, I'm not certain that I would go that far personally, or we as a company. However, it's on the table for discussion. If people are talking about it, we need to be talking about it. Therefore, I think that we should get back to our core mission and values. Why are we here? We come to work every day to make life-saving medication, not to deny people's access to it. Thank you.
I feel like I need to address something. The reason we all joined this company is because we wanted to help a community who needed our help the most. When we consider the fact that we have, so our competitors are able to pursue pharmaceutical justice as well as, oh my God, sorry, I'm gonna sit down, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Anyone else on the team want to pick up?
Okay, do it top. I feel like I need to address something. The reason we're all here today is because we wanted to help the community with the same problems that we felt we could relate to. When we consider and look at our ethical mission, there is a disconnect between how we're relating to the consumer and what our company's mission is. When we look at the overall issue, we've caused an issue in regards to how the company has related to the consumers because we've made them believe that there was an $89,000 drug treatment for them when actually that wasn't the situation. They weren't going to be able to pay that much. At the end of the day, we feel that we have to make sure we connect with this community and make sure that we are open with our communication with them and that we are responsible in our reputation in the pharmaceutical industry.
There's something I'd like to bring up, and it's part of what we mention in our own mission statement, titled Tesla's Mission Statement. Our commitment to safety here isn't necessarily to the vehicles themselves, it's to the consumers who are in these vehicles. And the autonomous driving technology that we're developing has the potential to save literally thousands of lives a year. Approximately 36,000 are currently lost to car accidents in the United States alone, the vast majority of which are due to human error. And the really nice thing about computers is they tend to not make human errors. Second of all, there are all kinds of challenging ethical questions associated with programming a machine to make the moral decisions that a person has to while operating a vehicle on the road. Do you swerve to hit a squirrel? Do you swerve to hit a cat? What about a dog? What about a child? Where do we draw this line? Do you swerve to hit a can? And these are things that we can generally leave to people, but these are now decisions that need to be made by a machine. Not only that, we need people to understand and be willing to get behind the wheel of a computer. And that's something that's concerning to people, especially when we consider how much better they think they are at driving than they actually are at driving. So considering all of this, I think it's clear that there are ethical issues that need to be addressed in this situation. And if we're not transparent to the public about how we're doing it and careful about what decisions that we're making, we may end up on the wrong side of history on this one, particularly considering that going into the future, you have an arbitrary number of human lives that this technology could potentially save.
thank you all. I think everyone did exceptionally well, and I don't want you to feel bad. You did the brave thing by going back. And I've been very inspired and impressed by everyone that I've seen today. So today and yesterday, and I've seen remarkable improvement from some of the cases I've seen from the very outset, from the whole presentation. So keep doing what you're doing. I find this exciting, and I hope that you do too, and enjoy the rest of your stay.
Thank you.